You know that feeling when you're at the very end of a marathon? You're totally exhausted, but you can see the finish line? You just have to keep going? Well, that's the exact energy we're diving into today with one of the Tarot's most powerful cards, the Nine of Wands. It's often called the Wounded Warrior, and it's all about that moment when you're bruised, but definitely not broken, and you're getting ready for one last, final push.
This quote, it just gets you, right? You didn't come this far just to come this far. I mean, that is the spirit of the Nine of Wands in a nutshell. This card isn't about starting some new fight. It's about seeing the one you're already in through to the end. You've fought so hard, you've learned so much, and that goal is so much closer than it feels right now. Think of this card as your cosmic pep talk, telling you to dig deep and find that last bit of strength.
So, let's make this personal. Where in your life right now do you feel like this warrior, battle-weary but still on your feet? Maybe it's a huge project at work that just won't end, or a personal goal that is testing every last nerve. We're going to break down what this final stand really means for you. Okay, so first, let's get to know the main character of this card. The story of the Nine of Wands is really one of pure grit, of hope, and of facing those tough challenges that always seem to pop up right before a big breakthrough. Let's really look at the classic picture on this card. You see this person, clearly injured, but still standing, holding on to a single wand. But now, look behind them. You see those other 8 wands? They're standing there like a wall, a fortress. Each one of those represents a battle you've already won, a lesson you've already learned. They're proof of how far you've come. So yeah, you might be tired, but you're still standing, and you're guarding everything you've worked for. And this is where we get to a really important choice. When you're this tired, you've got 2 paths you can take. On the one hand, you can channel all that exhaustion into perseverance, into one last brave act. But on the other path, you could let it turn into paranoia, into being stubborn, or just giving up completely. So let's take a look at where each of these paths leads. All right, let's start with the good path, the optimistic one. When the Nine of Wands shows up upright in a reading, it is a huge sign of encouragement. It's like the universe is nodding at you saying, I know it's been hard, but you absolutely have what it takes for this final push. So, when it's upright, this card is all about that resilience, that persistence, even when you're just running on fumes. It's kind of like a final test of faith in yourself and your dreams. It's also about using all that wisdom from past failures to set up really strong boundaries. Protecting your energy for the stuff that really matters. The message here is so clear. You are almost there. And that right there is the key. This card is a serious promise that you already have all the inner strength and grit you need to get over this last hurdle. I know it might feel impossible right now, but you are so much stronger than you think. Don't let go now, not when success is literally just around the corner. So let's see how this plays out in real life. In love, for example, the upright card could mean you and your partner are pushing through a really tough time together, but reversed, it could point to a total stalemate where nobody wants to give an inch. Now, look at your career. Upright, it's that last big push on a project. Reversed, we're talking burnout or just stubbornly refusing to change your approach. And with money, the upright card is all about guarding your cash through a tight spot, while the reversed is a warning against ignoring your bills or being careless. So what happens when that warrior just can't keep going? Well, the reversed Nine of Wands represents that exact moment, that breaking point. It's when your persistence turns into plain old stubbornness or when the fight just becomes way too much to handle. Now, when this card is reversed, its energy can show up in a couple of different ways. On one side, it might mean you're being super rigid and stubborn, refusing to compromise, maybe fighting a battle that's already over. But on the other side, it can mean you're just completely and utterly exhausted. You feel like you have no fight left in you, you're overwhelmed, unsupported, and just about ready to give up right before the finish line.
So, the reversed card makes you ask yourself some pretty tough questions. Are you holding on to a fight that ended a long time ago? Or have you let your guard down and just given up way too soon? It's a real moment for reflection.
But here's the thing. Whether the card is upright or reversed, there is this little spark of hope hidden right inside the card itself. Let's talk about the number 9, because in tarot, it has a really specific, really optimistic meaning. And this is exactly why there's so much hope here, even when things feel tough. In numerology, 9 is the very last number before you reach completion, which is always the number 10. I want you to think of it like being on the 9th step of a 10-step staircase. You're almost at the top. So when you see a 9 in a tarot reading, you just know you are on the very edge of reaching your goal. Fulfillment is right there.
Okay, so knowing all of this, what's the actual practical advice we can take from the Nine of Wands? How do we use that wounded warrior energy in a way that actually helps us?
All right, here's your 3-step game plan. First, gather your strength. And listen, resilience doesn't mean burning yourself out. It means resting when you need to. Take a break, but don't you dare quit. Step 2, protect your boundaries. Seriously, say no to the people and things that drain your energy. And finally, step 3, probably the most important, remember why it's worth it. Remind yourself why you started this in the first place. That passion, that's the fuel that's going to get you across the finish line.
And in the end, that's really what this card is all about. The Nine of Wands doesn't just give you the answer. It gives you the question. It asks you to look deep inside yourself, at your exhaustion, at your strength, at your goals, and you have to decide, is this the time to stand your ground and see it through? Or is it actually time to rethink this battle entirely? Only you know the answer to that.
We've created a beautiful Tarot Infographic Handbook and a Learn Tarot coloring book too. Check them out using the link in the description. See you next time.